Our final speaker for this session is architect Raha Ashrafi, who has traveled all the way from Iran to grace us with her presence. Architect Raha Ashrafi, who has been recognized as one of the top 10 global women designers by Architizer in 2019, Raha Ashrafi is the sole Iranian female architect to have received a WAF prize for her design of Dreamland in 2014. Advocating for underrepresented communities and inclusive urban environments, Raha integrates stakeholder participation in her design process, instilling a sense of ownership and pride among end users. Dedicated to crafting spaces that prioritize sensitivity to surroundings, equity in design, and inclusivity, her vision encompasses universal well-being, safety, and livelihood, celebrating biodiversity and cultural narratives. Currently serving as the design director at Tehran Urban Innovation Center, Raha conducts research on urban inclusivity, focusing on strategies for better integrating senior citizens, the deaf community, and individuals on the autism spectrum. In 2019, her research led to the creation of Silk Tree Park, the first deaf-friendly park in Iran, earning a nomination for Dezeen's 2022 Design Awards. With professional experience in various countries, including Australia, Spain, Iran, Germany, and the USA, Raha co-founded Ashrafi and Zad Designs in 2019. Based in Tehran, Iran, and Barcelona, Spain. The firm specializes in a wide spectrum of design, from intimate to territorial projects. I am delighted to invite our architect Raha to the stage for her presentation.
Okay. Hello everyone. خوش آمدید. In Farsi we say خوش آمدید. And I'm very happy I'm here today. And it is very exciting for me, lots of similarity between our cultures, which is very interesting for me today. And I found Karachi as a very rich city. And the only thing I think Karachi needs is to listen to it and to listen to its potential. Okay, I want to start my conversation with this question. If anybody asks you what is an ideal family means to you, you know, because in our culture, family is very important. So then if anybody asks you what is an ideal family, what comes in your mind? I am Raha Ashrafi, an architect and urban designer, and I have a partner, Marzi Azad, that we both together have an architectural firm based in Tehran and Barcelona. But then, despite the similarity we have in the architectural approach, we are totally different. And it is not the whole story. We have some colleagues from new generation of Iran. You know, the new generation of Iran are very demanding, are very intelligent, they have their own concern in the projects, and they want to be paid attention. And it is not necessarily aligned with my or my Marzi's opinion. So what should we do with this lots of differences idea? So for us, we try to look at this difference as a potential. So instead of ignoring them, we said that let's put it on the table and just look at it and then try to answer to the concerns that everybody has. This helps in feeling important, influential, and seen. And it helps to improve the quality of life in the office and also in project. So if anybody asks me what is an ideal family, I could say Uh, it is the place that everybody can express their feeling and their desire and be understood, and family helps to address those issues. So we try to bring this culture of our office into our project, I mean both urban design and architecture. So, to continue, I have this question, that what is an ideal city means to you? To answer this question, I had to back to history of Iran, 500 years ago. 500 years ago, if a city was to be built, so it was like that we have this bazaar and caravansarai or guest house and then mosque. So, and then all the residential buildings were built in a way to connect it to this major zone. And what we call as an urban space was not a design space, it was something between this built area. So then the potential of that urban area was that people had this sense of ownership to that. So anybody could use it in a way they want. They can play in it. They can sit in it or do this local market or a street theater, whatever they want, they could do that. And also, back to the culture and geography, so each city could have their own shape, you know. But 100 years ago in Iran, distance increased. What became important were the roads for transportation. Initially, citizens still had priority over transportation, but gradually transportation becomes so important, even more important than citizen. So when an urban designer wants to design a city, so first he had to think about the transportation access. So, and this urban design were based on the transportation access. And so how we can connect this different zone in a city, industrial zone, residential zone, and whatever we have. And also, urban designers were the one that would decide about the location of public area, you know, public space. And also, they were the one that decide what kind of activity should happen to that urban space. And then not individual taste and desire were important anymore. And also designers try to define some standards and rules, so then when a city wanted to shape, so all of them try to follow these rules. So then suddenly you're faced with lots of cities similar to each other, and maybe the culture and geography was not that important anymore. I wanted to compare this urban design with production. Maybe 500 years ago, we had this craft production. So it was very related to the raw material of that region. It was very much to the taste and culture of the city. And also, any individual could order according to its own preference. But then what happened 100 years ago was that this population growth and everything moved towards standardization and uniformity, and mass production happened. and what was important to producing more, and the taste and preference of the customer lost their importance. But in today's world, although rapid population growth, and still we need this attention to mass production and standardization, but also all business understood that we need to pay attention to diversity, and we have to do something, we call it now customization. So, sorry. So my question would be that, how, if we are comparing city design, I mean urban design with production, how we can transfer this word of customization into the city design? How we can do that? Okay, back to this city that we already have. Okay, I agree we need some rules because vehicles should have their own access. Okay, I know that we need the residential zone, commercial zone, and they should have their own location. And we have this limitation of putting urban plaza, public space anywhere we want. Okay, I know everything. But I believe, at least I'm talking about Iran, the thing that we can do, that we can, we have some solution. One of them could be like designing as urban designer. We can just design a free platform so any individual could find their own answer to their own concern in that public space, or maybe we can involve somehow or engage people to involve in the process of designing these public zones. Okay, back to Tehran. This is the map of Tehran. What is happening in Tehran nowadays? In Iran, it is usually like that. I don't know about Pakistan. But it is like that the government decide that, we need a project. And they decide that we want this project. And then they have the meeting with the designer. And during these meetings, they decide about a project and the result of design, everything. And then this project is built. And suddenly, citizens face with a project in their own neighborhood. It is always like that. So for me, this government is like a father of a family, that he is the one that decides for each of the family member what should they do and what they have to have in their life. And so their concern and desire is not any important. How this kind of manner affect on citizens in Tehran? So they start to don't pay attention to anything. It doesn't matter what is happening in their neighborhood anymore. So even you see some pictures like this in the street or in the neighborhood, nobody say anything. They just look at it and just go, because they have lost the sense of ownership in their city, so they don't care anymore. And and even if a good project happen in their neighborhood, they don't believe that this project is because to answer their needs. They think that they are just for responding some other goals, like political goals, This mistrust is very dangerous for city, I believe, because then people start to not use the project, and so the project become abandoned, or even maybe they do some damaging, something like that. So, and it costs a lot for the city. So, for us in the we were thinking how we can change this situation. So answer would be that let's involve people, let's try to respect to them, let's to create some atmosphere that people can talk about their own desires and everything. Okay, so the question to how to involve people, in our office we have two tools. One is inclusive design and one is participation. In some projects we use both of them, but then each of them has their own concern. In inclusive design, we have to look at the diversity of people. Each group has their own concern, and in some project, depending on the project, we can look at all the groups, but in some of them, just one of them. And in participation, the concept would be that in which phase, in data collection or design or construction, we should bring people. Okay, I want to start with this project. Darangah. The municipality give us this site and ask us to organize the site. So in our first site observation, we thought that we have found solution. We said, okay, there are some cars here, we have to remove them from the site. And we said, okay, we have greenery in that part, so it is very good. It is a positive point of this site, so let's keep it. And then we had decided to make this space as like gathering space, so everybody could come and spend time there. So it was all in our mind that it is a good solution for this site. But thanks God, we said, okay, let's go and ask neighbors what they want too. So I want to say that at first they were very angry because they look at us as a mayor of the Tehran. So they were so angry. So it was very hard to start communication with them. But then after that, they start to talk to us. And it was very interesting. It is the result. They said, here we don't have any safety, and we need our car to be beside our houses, so you cannot remove it. Then they said, see that green area, it is the place for drug dealers and addicted to hide the drugs. So you should remove all the bushes, but we let you just keep the trees, and that's okay. And then they told us, there are some immigrant workers here. We don't want this place be a place for them to gather together. So if you do that, we just demolish it. So it was very important lesson for me that I don't know anything, you know. How can I say? The main owner of a city, I believe, is people, citizen of that city. It is not government, it is not designer. And they know, they know what they want. So they just need to be listened. Okay, so after we did this data collection, so we decided to choose a modular geometry to could easily answer to different functions we have in the site. And also we wanted somehow that geometry become very familiar to the citizens. And so we try to choose like a Persian geometry. And if it is the site, so it was the way that geometry organized everything. As you can see, we had to put the cars there, and also we remove all the bushes and we add some trees. And also we had few benches, but not that much. So, and that place became a good place for children to play and women to be there. But it is not the whole story, because also we had limitation in budget. So we were thinking how we can use a leftover material to help us to decrease the budget. And you know, usually factories have lots of leftover material. So let's go, even I just suggest everyone, let's go and just have a look, and you can find lots of beautiful material that you can use it in your own project. So we decided to do that, and the only cost was the transportation cost. And look at the geometry. In that geometry, we have some small triangles. It was about 183 triangles. So we had this kind of thinking, okay, let's participate people in construction too. So maybe we can ask them to do these triangle things with broken tile. And then, so we set up a workshop, 1 week workshop, and we asked neighbors to come and join us and do these triangle things. And then it was very interesting for us that after 4 days, we had 200 triangle formed with this kind of art. And if I know that my father involved in this construction, if I know my daughter were involved, if I know that my grandma were involved, so I have this sense of ownership, and it is very good to somehow for the city, and I'm sure for a long time they don't need any maintenance anymore, because everybody wash at that plaza. So if it is the site, it is the result. Okay. Next project is a silk tree park. We call it Bustane Abrisham. I don't know if it doesn't have any meaning in Pakistani language, Urdu. So before we have this project, you know, I'm very interested in inclusive urbanism. I saw it is very important, at least for me, to know any individual needs in a city. So I have run some studio according to this thing that I like. So one of the studio was about deaf-friendly city. So I had lots of research with students, and we published a book with lots of standards that show how a city should change in a way to respond HOH individuals and deaf people. And it is easy to download, and you can have it for free if you want. And then this project came to us, and it was very interesting that it was exactly beside the Deaf Community Center. So we were thinking, okay, if we have to respond to the neighbors' need, let's also consider some standard that make this park as a deaf-friendly park. And it is the first deaf-friendly park around the world, you know. And it is our proposal for that park. And what are these standards I'm talking about? Is, for example, about the sitting area. You know, they have this golden dimension that everybody, because all the information comes from their eyes, so the distance should be in a way that they can see each other. And also, the other thing is that it is very important in which direction people enter to this sitting area. And also, the location of bushes are very important. Nothing should block their eyes. Another thing is that we have to control the light, natural light. So then if you want to put the shelter, so it should have enough height to decrease the contrast of the light. And also, the shelter shouldn't block the eyes again. And it is the result. And also we had some existing tree in the site, so those locations help us to rearrange our geometry of the park. And we decided to bring this green area to the wall. It is another view of the park. And a section of it. And also because we wanted to manage water usage, and so we tried to choose just native plants. And another thing that we was thinking that would be a good idea, just use herbal medicine as a plants in that park, so any citizen can use them. And you can see how children play in the side, and you see this wide way, because when deaf people want to communicate and talk, so they need enough space to move their hands. So then it should be wider than usual for them. And it is not the whole story. We ask them, this deaf community, to come to the park and give us feedback if maybe they had some opinion. And another view of the park. Okay, next project is Beryanak Plaza. It is the site. The site is beside a main highway of Tehran. Oops, sorry. It is a movie. Can you play it or not? So then you can see at east we have this highway, and at west we have residential zone. It's a low-income neighborhood. So, and then when the client gave us this project, they said that they already had some other project along this highway, but it is abandoned. Nobody used them. It is not possible? Okay, that's okay. So then we understood that maybe one of the main problem of the site is the noise pollution. So we start to do this data mapping for noise and during the days. And also we have found some solution that how we can control the noise pollution. So we had 3 answers. One is if we sink the site, one if we sink the road, or one is if we make a boundary between the road and the site. That could be, this boundary could be planet as well. And which kind of planet would be good for this boundary? Okay, this was the site when they gave it to us. And already it has this difference of the height, and it was about 4 meters. So we thought it is a good chance for us, so let's keep it as how it is, and let's add that another solution, that is this planet boundary we want to put it there. So it is a section of our solution. So you can see how this design could control the noise pollution. It is a section of the site. So we had this idea that, okay, the site should have this boundary to the highway, but also should give this feeling of welcoming from the neighborhood zone. So we add stairs in that part. But then we have to keep this plaza safe. So what could be the solution? So then we add these retails, because they ask for some retails as well, but then we try to organize it in a way then this retail could somehow be the eyes to the site too. And also we thought that because the site were belonging to the municipality, so we thought maybe it is a good idea to rent these retails to the neighbors there, so then they could have their own job there, and it is a low rent retail, so it is a good chance for them. And also we have lots of users of the site, because we have this passenger from the metro, and also we have local neighbors there, so they can use that area too. And also we talk to people, children, that what kind of thing they want to have. And so we had lots of meetings with stakeholders. And we reached to this solution. We have 5 courtyards, each of them responding to one group and responding to one activity there. And you can see this blue area are retails. And then we try to make the plaza more colorful, and all this, the pattern of this colorful things you can see is responding to the function we decide in that plaza. And this is an animation we made at first. And this is the final result. Okay, back to this question. I believe from my heart that we have 8 billion people around the world. We have 8 billion experience with different experience. We had 8 billion people with different background, with different fears, everything. So I can say we have 8 billion unique people around the world. So imagine each of them could be your client. So if you give them this chance to be listened and create this chance to have this communication and try to answer to their concern, so then you can have a unique project, because it belongs to their concern. And I want just to talk about one of our architectural projects. My client here, our client, he's a young, clever, motivated person. He has this vision in his mind that he wants to be the head of a steel guild. I don't know if I pronounce it good. And so he wants to have a building as a headquarter to be landmark. So because of his vision, he had to buy a land and ask the architect to design for him. But why I said he is very clever? Because instead of buying a land, he bought this. It is an old factory. I guess it is 80 years old, maybe. And it is in the industrial zone. And as you can see, this is the only high-rise building in that site. So it is already is a landmark. So instead of buying a land and ask a designer to design it, so it is a very great, decision. It is another view of the building. You can see that this lower level work with the context, but not about the rest of the building. So we had this idea in our mind, okay, we can still keep this lower level to work with the skyline of the industrial zone, but then we can have like a frame for activities happen in the building on top. And it is the final result. We try to keep as much as we can, and we chose just few material to add in the building. If it is the east part of this building, our solution was this. So this lower level is very much heavier, and it is very related to the context, but then the higher one is transparent, show the activity inside it, and between these two parts is a boundary which is green. And inside the building, that green area, it works with the restaurant and cafe and gym, which is very related things. And if it is the west part, our proposal was that. And it is another view, you can see. So what he wanted to have, like some offices on transparent part, gym and restaurant in the boundary side, and all this heavy part is showroom and industrial offices, something like that. And we have a storage of its material in the yard. Okay, it hasn't finished yet. So it is the building, and you can see the location. On south, we have this train, railway, we have highway on north, even after that we have airport on the north. But this building has these silos inside it. About 3 levels is covered, filled with this mass concrete. When we entered to this project, client was demolishing this mass concrete because he thought he needs some space for his functions, and he didn't have enough space because in each floor, about 70% of that floor covered by this mass concrete. So it is where we start to have this dialogue on conversation. So client talks about his concern and we listen to it and we try to, instead of fighting to him, we try to understand him and we try to find a solution. So our solution would be, let's design the cutting part. Instead of cut everything or demolish everything, let's design this demolishing part. So it was our idea. So then we give him the space he wants. We keep the story of the building, and also we can somehow increase the quality of that space, but with the way we want to cut. This is the silos inside the building, you can see. And our proposal was this, because it is the restaurant zone. So we were thinking if we have this cutting silos, so then we can have triple height floor, which is very great. But you would say that it is a very beautiful silos and it is very easy to cut, but it is not like that. The reality was this. We had columns, we had slabs, and we have these silos, and we didn't have any idea what's going on when we want to start cutting them. So this is a project inside another project. It took about 8 months to we finish it. And I said before that this project is more about conversation and dialogue. So one of our major problems that how we can make a map, how we can translate it in a way that contractor understand it, and which machine we have to use, in which location we have to start, from up or from down, from bottom, and where is the benchmark. And this, where is the benchmark, is a very easy to say, but it was very hard to find. So we decided to imagine it as a 4 parts, and it has lots of, how can I say in English? I don't know. We did lots of things to find some points, and you can see how we did it. I don't want to go to all of them, but these are the maps we created, or plans we created. So if we want that red curve, so what we did that first to choose, I put some point on the wall. And then we start from up, because we need some space to put the machine that can do these cutting things. And one by one, we went down. And during this, we had to do this reinforced things as well for the structure. Because before that, it was working as a structure as well. So then we had to, if we want to cut it, we have to have a solution for structure. And it is the way we did it in real life. And it is the final result after 8 months. And you can see that how somehow it somehow give you the idea of the Iranian geometry, something like that. And this is the result. Yeah, the building hasn't finished yet, so sorry because of the dirty glasses. And it is another view. And it is the result. Okay. These three people had was the most important members of this team, that they did this phenomena curve space together. These two guys are from my office, but then the man at the middle is the contractor, Nawa and Saeed. Also, we had some proposal about interior design. We wanted to keep some of the concrete parts, and also because his business was very related to steel, so we had some steel in the interior design. As you can see, we have some circle there, so because it is somehow related to the story of the building, so we try to keep it. And you can see again the entrance of the silos that we kept it. So the building, as you can see, is already finished, but the interior still needs some work to do. Okay. Back to this question. Still, we can have our own definition about an ideal family. But the thing is that, when I came to Pakistan, I found a good example of an ideal family. And I think IAP is one of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Architect Raha, for graciously sharing your design journey with us.